As coaches, we're often so focused on what other people need to do and the skills that others need to develop that we don't do the same for ourselves. So we'll go through a split just watching the LPL or the LCK as if that's enough to push us towards that next level. But we have to be more sophisticated than that. So just like with players, we need to know what skills we're trying to develop and how we're going to develop them. Now, if you're a new coach or someone who wants to push your game to the next level, where is the best place to start? The number one skill to be successful in the long term in League of Legends is to become a lifelong learner. The International Olympic Committee released a list of 10 key skills to be a great coach in sport. I'll link it up above or down below depending on where you're watching this. Definitely worth a read. Now they include eagerness to learn at number 2, just behind knowledge of the sport. But in esports in general and League of Legends more specifically, those are actually flipped. This is because League of Legends is a much more dynamic space. On one hand, it's because of the patches. The game physically changes every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks for an esports patch. So what you need to learn and what you need to do to be the most effective changes very often. And on the other hand, it's because there isn't a massive pool of shared knowledge to draw from. We simply haven't been doing high performance in League of Legends for very long. And so every year, teams are coming up with new strategies and new ways of playing the game that we simply didn't know a few years ago. And that filters down much more quickly than they're developed. So both of these put a lot of emphasis on your ability to learn, to constantly adapt and to create new strategies, both in the game and in your training. It's a much more dynamic space than sport, so eagerness to learn or becoming a lifelong learner is even more important. So now you know the area, the question is, what do we do with this information? Well, the good news is that it's a skill. So just like any other skill, it can be developed and it can be trained. Start by going back through your life. Think about what you've already learned. You've already put the work in. So now we just think, how can we apply that to League of Legends? It could be something you picked up in school or university, something from a previous sport experience or other teams that you've been on. For example, acting can teach you a lot about communication skills and control of your voice. Now, once you've gone back through the things you've already learned, where you've already put the work in, the next thing is to just do whatever interests you. Be led by your curiosity. Don't go and look and see these are the most effective things to learn for sport. Just look at what interests you, whether it be another sport or a passion, something like chess, and think, how can that be applied to League of Legends? But doing the things that you enjoy will allow you to develop that skill of loving to learn. The more you do it and the more you apply it to your own practice, the more you will start to enjoy the whole process of developing yourself. And that becomes really, really key for the future. So you've gone back through your life and taken learnings from things you've already done. And you've been led by your curiosity and explored areas that you're interested in, no matter if they're going to be helpful or not. The last thing to do is to look and explore areas with the main goal of improving your coaching. So I'm going to have a list of things that I found very helpful, which will be down below or up above, again, depending on how you're watching this, across a bunch of areas that are useful as a coach. But talk to other people, look at books that you might need to look at, listen to podcasts, or get classes, or even get coaching yourself. Now, all of this is going to develop you as a coach in the present, but it will also keep developing that skill of being a learner. You can't be siloed and be a great coach. You can't just stick to your one area of mastery within the game and expect to maintain high performance. You're never going to get accustomed to challenging yourself, learning new things, going into an area that you're not so familiar with. And so what are you going to do when this dynamic game changes around you? You're going to get left behind. So you have to be a lifelong learner.